Hey everybody, it's Jim from Cigars. It's a beautiful Memorial Day weekend, and I'm taking that opportunity to smoke the CAO America, which is billed by CAO as kind of the all-American cigar, but it comes in a distant third to two other cigars that I'm going to tell you about in a minute. But first, let's talk about a little background on CAO, because it's an interesting company. CAO is founded by a fellow by the name of Cano Aria Osgener, CAO. And that was a long time ago in the 60s. But when CAO was first founded, because of Cano's background of coming from Turkey, and he was really a pipe guy, he was not a cigar guy. So they really started out in the pipe business. He was an engineer, and he designed some briar pipes that were rather revolutionary for their time. And later they actually got involved in not only pipes, but humidors. So pretty far from the cigar business. But they really didn't get off the ground until about 97 or so in terms of cigars, when Cano's son, Tim Osgener, joined the company and became active in developing cigars with the help of the Plasencia family. So now fast forward another 10 years to about 2007, CAO was acquired by Scandinavian Tobacco Group. And that's a huge international conglomerate. And with that came the addition of Rick Rodriguez and Joe Huber. And those two guys were our pioneers in the cigar business. A whole raft of cigars that we're familiar with in the CAO line today were developed by those guys. They all went their separate ways, of course. Tim Osgener is now running the Osgener Family Cigar Company. And Rick Rodriguez is a big player, and I think the co-owner of West Tampa Cigars, those are great cigars. Certainly, last but not least, Joe Huber founded Crown Heads. So those are some heavy hitters there that were really the ones who developed the CAO brands that we're familiar with. I did say I was going to talk about this being a distant third. Now, this cigar is a Connecticut broadleaf wrapper, highlighted with Connecticut shade tobacco to kind of form a barber pole effect. But the inside of this is Nicaragua, Italy, believe it or not, and Dominican Republic tobacco. And it's also made in Honduras. So it's really not a very American cigar. But two that really are, number one, believe it or not, the Comacho Barrel Aged American. And that is billed by Comacho as being virtually, they give themselves a little wiggle room, all American tobacco in it. However, it is manufactured in the Dominican Republic at the Davidoff factory, so it's not quite all American. The only true American Puro is J.C. Newman. It's the J.C. Newman American. And the wrapper for that is grown in Florida, and the binder and the filler come from Connecticut and Pennsylvania, and it is made at the J.C. Newman factory in Tampa. So if you're looking for an American Puro to celebrate an American holiday, that is the one you should really have. But this one will certainly do. This is an okay cigar. I'm going to smoke it a little bit more and get back to you in a few minutes. All right, I'm pretty far along in this CAO America to give a report on it. I did want to mention, though, I committed a faux pas earlier. I was referring to Joe Huber, who's actually a guy I know. The fellow I was talking about who was with CAO is John Huber. So apologies to both Joe and John. Maybe I was nervous because I'm performing, as you can see, in front of a live audience. All right, back to this cigar. I'm not nuts about this cigar, I got to tell you. It took a while to get decent draw and decent smoke production out of it, which I could forgive because sometimes it takes a half an inch or so to get to that point. But I had some good smoke production for about, I don't know, inch and a half or so, and then it tailed off, and it's pretty thin right now. Construction-wise, there's a lot of cracking in the wrapper, and this is a Connecticut broadleaf wrapper, as I mentioned. It should be pretty sturdy, and so it's disappointing that it's not. Not great grades for construction. Taste-wise, it's pretty thin in that category too. It is a lot of leather, a lot of cedar, and a lot of spice, and that's about it. Not very complex, and not a very interesting cigar, to be honest with you. So I'm going to say, in terms of body, this is medium to maybe medium full. That spice does kick in at times. In terms of overall smoking experience, I'm going to give this a 7. And again, it's not a terrible cigar. When I say a cigar is a 7, It's not a bad cigar by any means, but it's kind of average or a little bit, in my estimation, below average. So that's it for today from Cigars. Hope you have an enjoyable Memorial weekend. Remember the veterans who sacrificed for us, and I will see you next time.